Get ready, racing fans! The most electrifying week in motorsports is back! October 6th to 11th, Oswego Speedway transforms into the Clay Palace, the ultimate battleground for Super Dirt Week. From the thrilling races to the electrifying atmosphere, it's more than a race. It's racing's biggest party. Don't miss out. Super Dirt Week 2025, October 6th through the 11th.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Steve Infanti and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us. No Paulie Sibilia today. Steve Infanti, Tim Leonard with you up until 2 o'clock. We've got a few guests to get to on the show. We're going to hear from Alyssa Manley, national champion. She's going to have her jersey retired this weekend, along with the 2015 field hockey squad. The national champs will be honored this weekend inside the Dome. We'll talk with Alyssa coming up at 12:30. We'll talk New York Giants football with John Schmelk at 1:30. They're going with Jackson Dart this week, making the move at quarterback. But we begin the show right off the bat with one of the most well-known Jet fans out there. So pleased to be joined by ESPN's Mike Greenberg. He's got a new book out. It's called Got Your Legends, Ranking America's Sports Franchises and Their Most Iconic Figures. Mike joins us now. Great to have you on, Greeny. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm grateful to you for having me. Thanks very much.
All right, so let's jump into this book. It's the third, right, of a series of books that you've got out. What made you want to attack this project first and foremost with your good friend Hembo?
So I love sports history, and one of the things we've tried to do with all three of these books is write stuff that I would have loved reading when I was a kid. And I hope that parents will read these books with, kids who are sports fans, or that kids, if they're old enough, will read them themselves, so that you know a little something about the history of sports. I think that's important, and I think it is a wonderful way to celebrate sports, and I think it is also the only way to be able to put the things that are happening in sports today into their proper perspective. So we had this idea, Hembo had the idea that we should do the Mount Rushmore of every franchise in sports. We took the four major sports leagues, NHL, NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, and we took all 124 teams, and we picked the Mount Rushmore of all of them. We did a ton of research, and we chose the four franchise faces, the legends. Almost all of them are players, but in some cases there are coaches, executives, owners, and broadcasters. And we chose the Mount Rushmore of every one of these franchises. Once we were done with that, we thought to ourselves, well, how are we going to put this all together? And the only logical way was, well, let's rank the franchises. So we take every team, all 124 of them, and we rank them from 1 to 124. We do it in tiers. So you put the number 1 football, baseball, basketball, and hockey team on tier 1, and then 2 of them on tier 2, and then 4 of them on tier 4, and on it goes. So the 2 areas that you hopefully will be able to get endless hours of discussion and debate over will be, did we get the right 4 franchise faces, and did we rank your team in the right spot, ahead of or behind the right teams? That's what the conversation is meant to be. I think it's sort of what I can do in life today. We are living in a time of so much debate and so many things happening in our world that create so much anxiety. And if we can create a respite from that, where people sit down over a beer and argue whether the Giants belong ahead of the Patriots or vice versa on the all-time list of football franchises, then I'll feel like we've done something good.
Well, Steve, I love to rank things, so
yes,
this is right up my alley. I love the concept for the book, Greeny. I guess, what were the toughest franchises to rank, or which one surprised you the most once you dug in on the research?
Honestly, the most surprising one for me was the San Antonio Spurs. Everyone knows that, they won the 5 championships. But I did not realize just how successful the Spurs have been since they came into the NBA. The Spurs were a team that joined the NBA in the merger in 1976, so they were one of 4 teams that joined. Since then, only the Lakers and the Bulls, Michael Jordan's Bulls, have won more championships than the Spurs have won. And even more interestingly, the Spurs have the second highest winning percentage in the entire NBA since the merger, sandwiched between the Lakers and the Celtics. They've not only been good, they've been ridiculously good and ridiculously consistent. So I will tell you that when we sat down to look at the data, I was not expecting the Spurs to be nearly as high as they are, but they are 14th on a list of 124 teams. And for a franchise that didn't come into existence until the launch of the ABA in the early 70s, so they are out, there are decades of history in basketball and multiple decades in the other sports, longer than the Spurs have. For them to be 14th on a list of 124 shows you just how consistently excellent that franchise has been.
Yeah, that is very impressive. I mentioned that you're a big Jets fan. We know that. I'm a huge Bills fan, so I don't want you to give too much away about the book, but can you delve into the Bills a little bit? Who's on your Mount Rushmore for the Buffalo Bills?
You tell me. You tell me who should be on the Mount Rushmore for the Buffalo Bills. Let me find their page in the book here. You tell me who should be on the Bills Mount Rushmore.
I mean, I think it's probably Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas. I think would be the 4 that come to mind for most. I think Marv Levy is, you could make a case for him. You said some coaches could be included, but I think of the players, it's probably those 4.
Just turn the page. Give me again.
Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, and Jim Kelly.
Okay, so Bruce Smith and Jim Kelly are right.
Okay.
You left out the most controversial but best player in the history of the franchise.
Well, okay. I purposely left him out.
We did not feel we could. Understood. And I understand that there will be people who will say you cannot include O.J. Simpson in this book because of the obvious circumstances.
Right.
Here's how I approached it. We talked about this at great length. If you are going to tell the story of the history of the Buffalo Bills as a football franchise, it is impossible to do without O.J. Simpson, who was the best player in the league for not a short period of time, who was one of the greatest, certainly at the time that he retired, you could have argued he was the second greatest running back that ever lived to that point, and who was also the most famous player in the league. I grew up in the 70s. O.J. Simpson was the most famous. O.J. Simpson and Joe Namath were the 2 most famous players in pro football, and really the 2 mega superstars who put football on the map in ways that it had not previously been. They had a star power that was very rare in terms of societal impact in pro football. Now, I'm not in any way diminishing the other circumstances that involve O.J. Simpson. So if we were choosing the 4 best people in the history of the franchise, he would not have made the list. But if you're going to choose the 4 most legendary people, the four people that when you say Buffalo Bills come to mind, if you are including the entire history of the franchise, I felt that you could not discount or leave out O.J. Simpson. It just didn't seem right.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That's a fair point. I do want to ask you about Josh Allen, as long as we're talking about the Bills.
He's the 4th one.
Oh, is he really?
He's the 4th one.
Okay.
Yes, and here's the thing. I will admit that I put a little runway in there. But I'm convinced that if this book comes out 4 years from now,
right. That's what I was going to say.
The exclusion of Josh Allen will look ridiculous. I made a statement on television last Friday that seems to have gotten a lot of reaction, and that's fine. I will 100% defend it. I am of the opinion that no one has ever played the position of quarterback better than Josh Allen. That is not saying he's the best, and certainly not the greatest quarterback ever. He's not the greatest quarterback of his era. Patrick Mahomes is by a wide margin the greatest quarterback of his era because greatness is a measure of accomplishment. But just playing the position, just watching a person and saying that guy's better than anyone I've ever seen, I've never seen anyone play it better than Josh Allen plays it. I'm not going to say he's better than anyone, but I'm also not going to say anyone is better than he is. Now, until and unless he wins at least one championship, he won't even make the list of the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. That's what he and Lamar Jackson are playing for. They're playing for historical greatness. The minute either of them wins a championship, then they go on the list with the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Josh Allen, and Rex likes to say Josh Allen has never lost a playoff game. His team has, but he's never lost a playoff game, and I believe it. I did an essay at the beginning of the season in which I said Josh Allen is already the best quarterback never to win the Super Bowl, and that includes Dan Marino, because as great and prolific and magnificent as Marino was, look at his playoff numbers, look at Allen's playoff numbers, they're not even close. Josh Allen has some of the best playoff individual statistics in history, inclusive of everyone. So I make no bones about this. I'm a Jet fan. I don't root for the Bills. I'm just calling it like I see it. And I know when I did that essay a couple of years ago, Bills Mafia sort of adopted me, which I loved. Because that's what sports should be about. My rooting interest is in the Jets. My job is to analyze these players as I see them. Josh Allen is as good at the quarterback position as anyone I've ever seen play it in my life, and I hope for his sake that eventually he gets over this hump and wins one, because that is a guy who deserves to be considered among the greatest quarterbacks that ever lived, and most certainly will not be until he wins a championship.
Hard to argue with any of that, Steve, right?
I'm on board 100%.
You're smiling ear to ear. I guess let's give you a chance to really jump on with Bills Mafia, Greeny. And who's your Super Bowl pick right now? And where do the Bills fall into that conversation based on what you've seen to this point in the season?
Well, my preseason pick, I did it on Sunday NFL Countdown, was I picked the Bills over the Lions in the Super Bowl. That's my pick, and right now I don't see any reason to change it. Week 1 made me worry about the Lions a little bit, but they seem to have recovered their footing and are now, according to our analytics, they are actually the favorites to win the NFC, and I just feel like they've been the best team. They were so decimated by injury last year. I'd like to see it for them. It's very difficult for me to pick against the Eagles, but repeating is also very, very hard. You need a lot of things to go right. So I picked the Lions, and I picked the Bills for a lot of factors. One, because of Josh. 2, because of their schedule, which no one listening to this conversation needs me to point out, but they only leave the Eastern time zone once. They only have to get on a plane, I think, once the entire season, or at maximum, they only leave the Eastern time zone once. They are favored both in Vegas and by our analytics in literally every game they play for the rest of the season. The division is bad, so they should win it handily. So I think they should win 14 or 15 games. It should be the 1 seed. And one of these years, they finally got to get it done. I mean, until they do, they haven't. I get that part of it. But to me, it was between them and the Ravens. And the difference between them is that in the postseason, the Ravens beat themselves. The Ravens beat themselves in that game in Buffalo last year. And the Bills tend not to beat themselves. They get just edged by Kansas City. I know some will say that was it Knox or Kincaid who should have caught that ball at the end of the playoff game last year, whichever one of them it was. Yeah. He probably should have caught that ball, but it's not like the Andrews drop in the end zone when the ball is directly in his hands. So I have more faith in the Bills finally getting over the mountain than I do the Ravens. But it wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore gets it done. But I picked the Bills, and I stay with it. My pick right now is exactly what it was 3 weeks ago. I have Buffalo over Detroit in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the Bills now have essentially a 3-game lead on the Ravens for the number 1 seed, given the fact they've got the head-to-head, and the Ravens off to a 1-2 start there.
Watch out for Jim out west.
Yeah.
Watch out for Jim Harbaugh is what I would say. When he got hired, I've known Jim. I covered Jim as a player. When I started out in the business, Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback of the Chicago Bears when I was working in Chicago. So I've known Jim for 30-something years. That guy is a great coach. He is an elite NFL coach. And when he got hired, I said, give Jim 3 years and he'll have that team in the Super Bowl. He could be a year ahead of the pace. I'm not sure that by the time we get to the end of this season, and maybe even today, the fans in Buffalo might not be feeling like my biggest concern is not Baltimore and it's not Kansas City, it's the Chargers. Because if there's a quarterback who I think could stand toe-to-toe with Josh in a lot of ways, it might be that one. And he finally has the benefit of elite coaching, which he had not had through the beginning of his career. So I'm not convinced that if there's a team, if I'm rooting for the Bills, that I'm most worried about, I'm not convinced it isn't the Chargers.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It looks like Justin Herbert's finally healthy too, right? I think he was maybe more injured last year than he was letting on, but he looks healthy and he looks great. We mentioned at the top of the show, Greeny, that the Giants have decided to make the move to Jackson Dart. Are you surprised it's this early? Is it too early, in your opinion, to make the move to the rookie?
Yes. No, I'm not surprised, but yes, I think it's too early. Look, there are 4 reasons you might do this. There are 4 reasons that you go to the rookie. One of them is you've just decided, absent any other factor, this is the time that he was ready, based upon his development. That seems like a very unlikely answer to why they chose to do it right now. The other 3 are all bad reasons. They're all impatience. It could be that your owner is impatient. It could be that you're reacting to the impatience of the fan base. It could be that you're reacting to the impatience of the locker room. None of those are a good reason to put a rookie out there this weekend, albeit, and I mean, worst of all, against the Charger defense that is ferocious. All of those, any of those, whichever one it is, and I think it might be a combination of all 3, are terrible reasons to take the guy who is going to be the future of your franchise, you hope will be the future of your franchise, and begin the process of throwing him to the wolves. So I think it is a panic move based on impatience on someone's part. That's a terrible reason to do anything. So I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Well, while we've got you here on Syracuse Radio, Greeny, I want to ask you, the Syracuse football team has been all over the You Got Moss segment on your shows.
Yes.
And Daryl Gill, one of the star wide receivers for the Orange, who got the gloves from Randy Moss last week, I was talking with him last week, and he said Randy was one of the players he looked up to the most growing up, and he was thrilled to get the gloves. I saw you guys played back the clip on your show. But do you remember a team dominating the You Got Moss segment as much as Syracuse recently? I think it's been 3 players in the last 2 weeks.
Yes, it's been remarkable. He won it 2 weeks ago, and then Syracuse had 2 guys on this past week. No, it's wonderful. I love to see that. Look, at Syracuse, I went to the Medill School of Journalism, and in our industry, as you guys know, Medill and Newhouse are 2. That's the rivalry. When Northwestern played Syracuse in football, that was my Super Bowl. that was we called it the Pros Bowl, and that was my Super Bowl because if we had lost, I was going to hear it from Costas and Tirico and all of these guys, and instead I had bragging rights. So I am acutely aware of Syracuse football and what they did to Clemson. Holy smoke. So, I think it's great. And yes, playing that reaction from Gill, it made me feel good. It made Randy feel so good. Look, Randy is so iconic. The reaction that people have to him is just amazing to me. I've spent my entire adult life around professional athletes, and people tend to hold them all in some degree of awe. But Randy is next level. People react to Randy the way they do to LeBron and Michael and people like that, and he deserves it. He is that good and that iconic. So, yes, all those reactions when people get those gloves, they make Randy feel great. They make us feel great. And that one, I remember it in particular. It was just this week, but it really stood out because of the excitement of all the players. Like when they opened it and everyone was jumping around, it was a great moment. We loved it.
Greeny, along those lines, as we wrap up, I got to say this. I'm a TV guy. I didn't do much radio in college. Several years ago, I was approached by ESPN Radio here in Syracuse to do a show. I didn't know much about sports talk radio, so I started listening to a lot more of it. And I listened to, obviously, your show, and I said, I want to be like that guy. And I have admired you since then and continue to admire you. So thanks for being a mentor. Keep doing what you're doing. Best of luck with the book and with everything else you got going on. Can you remind everybody where to get the book? It dropped yesterday. Where can people find it?
Those are very kind words. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that thought. I remember the people who were sort of the vets in this industry when I was starting out, and I remember very well amongst the ones that I got the chance to meet who was nice to me and who was not. And so it makes me feel very good to hear you say that, and I appreciate you saying it. As far as the book is concerned, it's called Got Your Legends. It should be available everywhere the books are sold right now, so hopefully you can find it in any bookstore. And I will mention that while I'm doing this radio tour this week, Amazon is doing a special price on the book. So if you go to Amazon right now and you just search the book. It's called Got Your Legends, and the author is me, Mike Greenberg. You will get it at you can have it delivered, I think, in a day, and you will get it at a special discounted price. So if you are interested, with our great thanks for your support and interest, Got Your Legends at Amazon, and you will get it for a special discounted price. And thank you very much, as always, for all of the support.
All right, Greeny. Thanks so much for coming on. We do appreciate it. Best of luck with the book.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate the time.
All right, Mike Greenberg from ESPN joining us here on the program as we kick things off. We normally don't start with a guest, but we make exceptions for Fran Brown. We make exceptions for Wes Durham. We make exceptions for Mike Greenberg, among others.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 in a row this week, actually, because Fran Brown tomorrow, we might be starting with him. We'll see how it goes. Yeah,
exactly. All right, well, we're going to take our first time out. Phone lines open if you want to check in, 315-437-7644. Make sure you get that book. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Auburn Community.
I'm actually not just saying this. That does seem like a book that would be right up my alley.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think I am going to buy it.
For sure. Get the discounted price.
Right, there we go. I got to plug in my laptop, and it's kind of like, we don't have many options, but right behind you, I think. So
yeah, go for it. Of course, yeah. Here? Yep. Yeah, the curse continues. Paulie wasn't here for Greeny. Swift men, yes. I'm going to sleep better tonight knowing that. I wasn't expecting him to say he was on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I was going to follow up with how close is Josh Allen. I was actually going to say, if you were to write this book in a couple of years, you know,
well,
would you
I was thinking of asking the same question, but I was like, Steve's the Bills guy. Let's let him cook on his Bills questions. And yeah, because that's the only tough part with doing the book is it feels like it can get outdated in like 15. You almost have to revise it consistently.
Right.
Yeah, Yanks have clinched a playoff spot.
That was an interesting way to do it last night. Did you see the end of the game? They tied
I saw the walk-off. I didn't really watch. I got to catch up because I got the Yankees.
They wasted so many opportunities, and so then they get first and second, nobody out in the ninth. Top of the order coming up. Trent Grisham's up. You're like, okay, they're going to figure out a way to win this. He hits into a double play, like the one thing he couldn't do. So now it's guy on third with 2 outs. Judge is up. Of course, they walk him.
Yeah.
And then Bellinger comes up and gets off to a bad start with the at-bat. I think it was either 0-2 or 1-2. Works his way back to a 3-2 count. And then the pitch on ball 4 just sails over the catcher, goes all the way to the backstop. Volpe scores on the wild pitch.
Yeah.
And then they got the bloop single right after that.
That's crazy. They tried to struggling with the White Sox.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they're only a game out now, but the problem is Blue Jays have the tiebreaker, so...
Right. Yeah.
They're basically 2. It's a weird spot for them, though, because you're kind of root. You don't really know if you want to root for the Red Sox, but also you don't want to root for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how hard they go after the division, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's 2, you know, like you said, it's essentially 2 with 5 games to go, but it makes, you know... It gives you an easier path.
They're playing the Orioles, who they've been playing better, but they're not.
They're still the Orioles. Yeah. The Yankees just took 3 or 4 from them.
Yeah. They don't have anything really to play for except for play spoiler, and their young guys want to play well.
Right. Yeah, Bill Cowell. We were talking about that. Me and Jim Teskey were talking about that in the office about the center fielder not diving for the White Sox. It was you saw the play, right?
He kind of like stutter stepped and then
like the game's over if it falls.
Yeah.
Like Judge is obviously scoring on that. He's going on contact. Like you have to at least try to catch it. And he just kind of like it almost looked like it was a bloop single in the second inning. Like he just kind of like let it drop in front of him. And
reminded me of at the end of my time in the Cape Cod Baseball League when players didn't want to be there, and they're like just subtly like, I just didn't quite get to that one. Game's over. Because I don't think the White Sox care much.
Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
I had a dream about my man last night, and my man came by the studio.
A Tribe Called Quest, Steve, is our artist of the day. One of your favorites. This is off to a good start for you. You have no Pauly today. Mike Greenberg just crowned your Bills Super Bowl champions, maybe. He's praising Josh Allen. He's already on the Mount Rushmore, and now you got one of your favorite artists today.
Absolutely. Today is a good day. I'm gonna mark this down. September 24th. It's a good day. We didn't really get a chance to chat because we had Greeny right off the top. How are you doing today? Everything good?
I'm doing well. I was actually thinking today, I'm in a good mood today as well because I think can confidently say this is my favorite sports time of the year. It's also just the best time to be in Syracuse. I think the weather's great this time of year and vibes are high. But looking at this weekend slate of sports, the big sports I care about are maybe more than others are golf and baseball. And then, of course, I love football because who doesn't love football? So you got an unbelievable college football slate. Big game for Syracuse, sold-out dome. That's all good and well. Got the Ryder Cup this weekend, and then we were just chatting during the break about the Yankees and the MLB final week of the regular season. This is one of the better final weeks of the regular season in a while where there's a lot of divisional races up for grabs. So I'm just ready to watch a lot of sports this weekend, I think.
No doubt. Really looking forward to the Ryder Cup. I know that you're a golf guy.
Yeah.
Do you have a good feeling about the Americans this time around?
I think they will get it done. The one thing I'll say about the Ryder Cup, it's like my favorite thing to watch, but it has been a blowout consistently to the home team for the last basically 5-6 times. So even though I'm pulling hard for the Americans because that's what you should do as an American, and I feel good about the U.S. winning, and I'm going to be rooting for them. I wouldn't mind if it was like a close Ryder Cup for a change. Yeah. I'm kind of pulling for that on Sunday.
I'm with you on that. I want a little bit of drama. All right, we went long with Greeny, so we're going to get back on time here. Coming up next, we've got Alyssa Manley, SU Field Hockey National Champion. She's going to have her jersey retired Friday during the SU Duke Field Hockey game, and then will be honored inside the Dome Saturday during the second quarter. She will be recognized along with the 2015 National Champs, the Field Hockey Squad. Alyssa Manley joins us next on ESPN Radio.
Did you miss Drive Time?
Pauly said save Scenario as the last song. It's all the songs from, you wrote it down.
Low End Theory.
Yeah, Low End Theory, because that was released today. So we can mention that at some point. Yeah, the spread is climbing in Duke's favor. I think it's 6 now, which we can talk about that at some point because.
And the over/under is like over 60, right?
Yeah, it should be a high-scoring game, but. Drinking and screaming at a golf event, yeah. There's going to be a whole lot of that, Kev.
You obviously see the song. You see the songs, right?
Yeah, it was. Now this is Sky Pager we're going to do. I'll mention it. I think I forgot to. Double or nothing this week? I think the spread this week, I would lean more towards Syracuse right now, Kev. Kev and I bet a Wildcat pizza on the Clemson spread. Because I think we talked about it. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Over-under for the Clemson game was like 50-ish, right? I think it was early, like low 50s.
I just said the number jumped off the page at me this week because it was over 60.
Yeah. I'm guessing the over hit in Clemson. I don't know.
So Zachary Everson in YouTube chat. So the Yankees are a game back of Toronto with 5 to play, but they don't hold the tiebreaker. So they're essentially 2 games back of Toronto. with 5 to play. Artist of the day is Tribe Called Quest.
The overhead, okay.
Yeah, Gavendo, I guess roughly a game and a half, but it's essentially 2 though, because they're not going to play a half a game. They're both going to play 5 here. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, Gavendo, I saw that. His dad texted me a week or 2 ago and told me about the Del Lago thing. That's really cool.
I remember he was a student, I think, when I was a student at Cuse, like a high school kid.
Oh,
Grace
Liverpool?
Mills, yeah. He's still fighting, like, professionally and
great.
killing it.
He is doing great.
Yeah.
He's like ranked for his weight class in the country.
David, do we have... Just text me if we've got Alyssa.
The ceremony is not at halftime. It's in the second quarter.
Yeah, you said that. Okay. Right. I had that wrong then.
No,
That's
I asked John yesterday, and he said they're going to do, like, during one of the timeouts in the second quarter, they're going to bring them out on and
cool. We do have her. I feel like we would have seen them do something by now about Brady. But we'll see. Nice. Signed photo of the David Tyree catch. That's a good item to have if you're a Syracuse Giants guy.
ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com.
Do you know the importance of a sky pager?
Sky Pager from A Tribe Called Quest. One of Stephen Fonte's favorite is our artist of the day. We're doing all the Low End Theory songs because it is the anniversary of Low End Theory being released.
All right, and with that, we go back to our guest line. If you happen to be watching us on QSportsTalk.com, you see our next guest live and in person. So pleased to be joined by Alyssa Manley, member of the 2015 SU women's field hockey team that won the national championship. She will have her jersey retired on Friday. The team and Alyssa will be honored Saturday at the Syracuse Duke football game, and she joins us now. Alyssa, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on the honor. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Yeah, I'm doing well.
All right. So let's just start with this recognition in general. I heard you talking yesterday that you haven't been back on campus probably in 6 years or so, back before the pandemic, 2019. So I guess how much are you looking forward to coming back, and what does this honor mean to you personally?
I'm really excited to be back. It's going to be really nice being back with so many of my teammates that I haven't seen in years. Some of them I might not have seen literally since I graduated, which is wild to think about now. It feels like time is flying. But yeah, it means a lot to be able to go back and celebrate with them too, all the accomplishments that we had while we were there together. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Alyssa, do you remember where you were when you found out, or you got the call or whatever it was, that your jersey was going to be retired? And what was the emotions in that moment when you found out that number 5 jersey is going to be honored?
I was actually at the gym, and I had gotten a call from John Schmelk, and I felt so honored. I couldn't believe it. It's such an honor. It felt really surreal, and it still honestly kind of feels surreal that it's happening. And like even thinking back on the national championship, like that still feels surreal to me. So it's really nice to get the honor, and I wouldn't have been able to be in this place without all my teammates and everybody that went before me at Syracuse. So it means a lot, and I'm happy to have created a legacy that can be carried on there as well.
When you look back on that 2015 season, you guys were so dominant. You lost just the one game, right, in the ACC tournament to North Carolina, and then avenged that loss, in the NCAA tournament. What comes to mind when you think back on 2015? Was it the national championship? Was it a different moment along the way, whether it was a game or practice or a moment that maybe we're not aware of?
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there. Will you just repeat that question?
Just wondering what comes to mind for you when you look back on 2015, that season. Is there a moment or a game or something that I guess comes to mind? Is it the national championship that comes to mind first?
I think it's really easy to think of the national championship, but I think just across the whole entire season, like we had so much belief in ourselves the whole season from day one preseason. Like we really believed that we had a shot, and we didn't get too wrapped up with like being like, oh, we're going to be there, we're going to win it. Like we knew that we had to go through the season, we had to play our matches day by day, training and stuff to really build to that point. But we really felt that we could do it, and I think we really showed that throughout the whole entire season that we were contenders for the national championship. And I think that's when I think back to that season, that is the thing that I think about the most, is just our belief and how hard we worked the whole time. We didn't take our foot off the gas at all.
Well, you mentioned you're going to have a lot of your 2015 teammates back this weekend as well, and the team will be getting honored as well as your jersey and your number 5 jersey being retired. How cool is it to just be getting honored with your team as well and know that you're going to see a lot of familiar faces and see a lot of your teammates this weekend?
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm really happy about it. I think the celebration for the national championship was something that was already kind of in the works of being planned, and then they added in my jersey retirement as well. So it means a lot to me to be able to do it along with the girls that I was playing with there in Syracuse. It means a lot to be there and to get to celebrate our team accomplishment as well, and to have them there is really nice.
I have one more question just about that season and how you experienced it. You know, you guys go 21-1, and as I mentioned, that lone loss was to North Carolina in the ACC championship, and then you get them in the national championship. They're number 1 in the country. You just lost to them a few weeks prior. Can you speak to, I guess, the preparation for that game and the mindset, and what allowed you guys to, I guess, atone for that loss and beat them when it mattered most?
Yeah, I think after we had lost the ACC tournament, it obviously it stung really deep, because we would have loved to have gone with a perfect season, but we just kind of regrouped and we let that match fuel us, and we were like, this is not going to happen again. So again, like the belief was just, it was such a huge part of that team that when we found out that we were going to be meeting up with them again in the final, we had so much belief. We didn't doubt ourselves that we couldn't win it. So that really stood to us, I think, throughout the whole entire season. And then that match in particular, that we were able to play free, which was really nice. So we played a really good game of hockey.
Field hockey national champion Alyssa Manley, who will get her number 5 jersey retired this weekend, is with us here on Orange Nation. And you talked about how it's the first time that you're going to be back in a little bit, and you're excited to be back on campus with some of your teammates. What do you miss most about Syracuse, and what are the spots that are high on your list that you really want to get to on campus or even off campus now that you're coming back?
Yeah, I'm really excited just to walk around campus. I lived on campus the whole time I was there, so I'll probably go through South Campus as well, go through all the apartments and stuff just to see it again. And then I'm excited to be, I know it's not Manley Fieldhouse anymore, but I'm excited to be back in the sports complex and back at Coyne. And then Syracuse is spoiled with good food, so I'm really excited to go back and hit up some of the restaurants that are still there from when I was in college, like Recess Coffee. I think I spent almost every single day there, at least the last 2 years of me being in Syracuse, so I'll definitely be making a stop there.
Alyssa, how much do you, I guess, stay in touch with the current team, and how much do you kind of pay attention to what's going on? They're off to a 6-2 start this year, highly ranked after 3 straight ranked wins to open up the season. How much do you pay attention to how they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, like, I follow them on Instagram, so I'm always keeping track, like, day to day through their Instagram page, but I check in on the scores and stuff. Living in Ireland, it's a little more difficult to watch the matches. So I'm not always able to see them, but I always go back and look for the highlights and stuff. But I try to keep up to date as much as I can with the season, not just like this season, but basically since I've graduated. I'm really happy to support Syracuse field hockey. It brought me so much joy, and yeah, it's great to see them and their success. They're doing really well this year, and even the 2 matches they lost, like, those were so close, and they have it in them as well.
Well, you mentioned you're living in Ireland right now. Catch us up to date on what you've been doing since you graduated, and since we knew you as a national champion. For all the Orange fans, what have you been up to, and what has you living out in Ireland right now?
So after Syracuse, I played for the U.S. team for 5 years, and then shortly after that, and well, also at Syracuse, I met my wife, Elaine, who also was playing hockey. So she's from Ireland. So back in 2020, when COVID hit, we had been doing long distance for a few years. So that was first what brought me over. But Ireland is such a beautiful country. Irish people they're so nice. They're very kind. So I'm really enjoying living here. It's much smaller than like Syracuse and living in the U.S. and being from Pennsylvania, but it's such a beautiful country. I definitely recommend, if anyone's coming to Europe, come to Ireland. And I live in Galway, and it's such a beautiful city.
Well, listen, the weather here, it looks perfect for Friday and Saturday. Yeah. So at least we got that going for you. Have a safe trip back to the States, and we look forward to seeing you Friday night and Saturday inside the Dome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks for coming on, and congrats again on the honor. Alyssa Manley, our guest here on the show. She will be honored with the jersey retirement Friday during the Syracuse-Duke field hockey game. I believe it's a 6 o'clock start on Friday, and then she will be recognized along with the 2015 national champs during the second quarter of the football game inside the Dome between Syracuse and Duke on Saturday.
And field hockey is on ACC Network on Friday. So if you want to watch that, you can. I'm sure they'll have a lot of chatter throughout the broadcast about Alyssa, and they should. It's pretty awesome to see that she will be back this weekend.
And that 2015 team, they were the first women's team to win a national title in school history. So that's something that can never be taken away from them. And if we remember, too, that was the cross-country team won the national title that year. So the men's cross-country, the women won field hockey within the span of, it was like the same weekend, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Much, yeah.
I believe it was the same weekend that they both won.
And cross-country will be honored this weekend as well, the 2015 national championship team. So a whole lot of national championship teams back inside the Dome.
Yeah, the cross-country team will be honored inside the Dome as well, I believe, during the third quarter of the football game, if I'm not mistaken. So a different part of the game, but they'll be in the house as well. So a lot going on. It's going to be a packed house Saturday for Syracuse and Duke. And you mentioned, Tim, the point spread keeps going up.
Yeah, I think it's at 6 right now. Duke is 6-point favorite. So maybe we can talk about that when we get back. Yeah.
All right, let's hit a timeout here. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next. We'll check in with Lee Baldwin on the market, and then we'll get to hour number 2. You're listening to Orange Nation on ESPN Radio.
Saturday, October 4th.
Let me see Paulie's text. Said he's on his way back. If he wants.
No. Take your time. Get lunch.
Go walk Indy. All right.
Up to you, boss.
I think Fran has been pretty good as an underdog, too, Fly Guy. They're, I believe, I was looking at it the other day, like 5-2 against the spread win.
I think they were 6-2 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Although, sometimes the spread varies, but yeah, we looked it up. We looked it up before the Tennessee game. I think it was 6-2 last year.
Just follow the marching orders. All right, we're getting Paulie for the second hour, folks. It's like
Everything
when
was going so well. Dude.
it's like when I'm like the quarterback's gonna get booed. Like when Paulie comes in, the fan base, the chat's gonna start booing. Try and think of like the worst relief pitcher on the Yankees. That's
They're bringing in this guy,
right?
I don't want to break up this beautiful chemistry, though. No, Paulie had a commitment that he forgot about.
Shocker.
And so
he's going to be mad. We didn't even tell Greeny that he has missed out. Yeah, who cares?
He could have been here if he wanted to.
Yeah. He was like, you got to tell Greeny I miss him.
LA Orange, it is refreshing when he's not here. I will say that.
You got at least an hour off.
That's right.
Jazz, We've Got It. You like that one?
Yeah, I like the whole album.
Okay.
Is
it their best album?
I mean, I had it, so I listened to it all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. Oh, he's getting a job at Grid.
Yeah, Phil, if you put Devin Williams in a high leverage situation, he's awful. You put him in when it's like a 6-run lead in the 7th, and he's lights out. So
yeah,
I'm with you, Phil. Like anytime he comes in and the game is close, I'm like, why are they giving him the ball?
They don't have enough guys in their bullpen that you trust. I feel like. No. I mean, that's the big downfall.
I'm not sure they have any guys in the bullpen that you trust. Like,
I think Bednard's been pretty good. Weaver, he was really good last year. He's been more up and down this year, but
they've all been inconsistent. It's been the problem. Like,
you definitely don't trust Duvall. He hasn't been as good as you hoped. Don't trust Williams.
Spatch of the Wheeze, no, I don't think we're splitting up. I think we're just gonna press on.
Willis Reed return for Paul, yeah. Oh, we lost. Or maybe they didn't pick up. Should be Lee.
Yeah, so I was trying to stall a little bit.
Right.
Because I knew we were a little early, but. There he is.
Here comes the Willis Reed return. I don't know if you want that. You coming back right now? I mean, okay, I'll hit the.
How about that?
Favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
All right, Steve, we got to make a live transition here. Our guy, Paulie Sibilia, has miraculously returned from his award. So,
hey, whatever the boss wants,
yes,
right? You know?
I know you were enjoying the chemistry.
I was.
This is devastating news for you, but A Tribe Called Quest is still our artist of the day.
Show is off to a great start.
All right, here we go, Paulie.
All right, Paulie, come join us.
Can't hear you yet.
Oh, okay.
Now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me.
This is award-winning radio right here.
Yes, it is. I mean, we could have just waited it for the top of the hour, but...
No, I deserve pomp and circumstance. How was Greeny?
He was awesome.
Did he miss me?
We didn't even bring you up. We got sidetracked with us. He is a big fan of Josh Allen. You should listen back to the interview.
I'm a big fan of his.
I am as well. Well, you weren't here. You could have been here. You could have been here.
I couldn't have.
Well, I think you could have figured it out.
No, I won an award.
Yeah.
That I was
for what? Tell everybody for what?
Best commercial.
Best commercial. Okay.
And I was going to get it.
All right.
Are you down? What did you win?
We didn't win anything this year. That's what I'm saying. It's like if this radio show was a priority for you, you would have been here. So if talking with Greeny was a priority for you, you would have been here.
Q Sports Talk also won, so I had to go up and give a speech for that.
Speech?
Yeah.
Okay.
Best post-game show coverage.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Well done. And you already got the 2 awards in your back already.
Yep. We were first.
Lucky us. Lucky us. So
like your
so glad
tone.
to have you back. No, things were going so. It was such a smooth start to the
Doesn't
show.
even have the chat open.
I do. I've got them both open.
The hell is going? No, Tim. What the hell? I see. I'm a man of the people.
Yes, you are.
I'm a people of the people, Steve. I don't know if you know that. Everything else going good? Because I got a good question for you.
Okay.
We can do it at the top of the hour, right? Aren't we supposed to have someone from?
We're gonna have a check in on the market here momentarily, I would say, but yes, we've got plenty of time at the top of the hour. We got a half hour. We've got John Schmelk coming on at 1:30, so we've got a half hour.
Talked about it in the past, and I just tuned it out because you were probably talking about it.
What's the question? There's currently an issue with the phone, so we'll stand by with Lee Baldwin. So what's the question?
I'll ask a question. It's a top of the hour question. You don't ask at 49. Come on, that's why we don't win awards, because you want to do stuff like that. I went to a phlebotomist today, Steve.
You really?
Yeah, I got phlebotomized, and look at this. Uno, dos, tres.
Wow. Couldn't find your vein, or
couldn't get any. I was like trying to get personality out of you. It was
oh, that's funny.
It was not good.
Did you give the fist? Did you try pumping your fist?
Did everything. This lady's like, your veins are liars. And I go, I don't blame my veins.
Were you dehydrated?
No, because when she finally found one, it was
flowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be beat up. I'm gonna have that one is really black and blue already.
Yeah, I can visibly see them from over here. So
yeah, I really got phlebotomized good, as the kids would say.
All right, I'm being told no Lee Baldwin today due to some issues with their phone line. So just remember that you should go visit LeeBaldwin.com, and the slogan, Lee Baldwin, all of the diamonds, none of the dogs. So we'll check in with Lee Baldwin and Company tomorrow.
Did I miss anything else in the show, Steve, that I need to be caught up on?
No, it was a good first hour. We talked with Greeny right off the bat. The book sounds very interesting. Basically, you understand the premise behind the book. They ranked all of the major sports franchises in North America, from football, basketball, hockey, baseball. They started at number one. They went down the rest of the way, and then they did a Mount Rushmore for each franchise.
Oh, nice.
And so we spent some time talking about the Bills. He's got Josh Allen in his Mount Rushmore because he said that if 3 years from now somebody's reading this, they're going to be like, how could you have left Josh Allen off? So
I don't know about that yet. What if he gets hurt tomorrow?
I know. So he just said he's trending in that direction. He talked about how he's
Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas.
So he asked me, he said, who would you put in? So I said the four from that team: Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, Jim Kelly. They have Bruce Smith and Jim Kelly. They have Josh Allen, and they went with OJ. And he explained, he's like, listen, you can't tell the history of the Bills without OJ. I get that argument. I purposely left OJ off when he asked me who would you put in, but I get what he's saying, because you're right.
If you're going just by football stats and not...
Right.
Yeah,
I get it.
Murder.
Yeah, right. I get it. I understand. And that's kind of what he said. He's like, you can't tell the history of the franchise without O.J. Simpson. So I understand that. And Bruce Smith was the most dominant defensive player. Jim Kelly was the most dominant offensive player. And then he went with Josh Allen. So that was the group
I find
of four.
All right. I guess if you're going to have Thurman Thomas, O.J. would have.
Right. Yeah. So that
Where
was
did they rank as a franchise?
We didn't get into. We didn't want him to give too much away about the book. He did bring up. We said, was there any franchise that surprised you? And he brought up the San Antonio Spurs. Well, and he said that they're good. Right. He was talking about he knew they were good, but just how good they have been since joining the league. In terms of their winning percentage, it's actually between the Lakers and Celtics since they've joined the league. That they're number 2 on the list. So that was interesting. It sounds like a very intriguing book. So we had a nice chat with him. And then we talked with Alyssa Manley, who's going to have her jersey retired, member of the 2015 field hockey team that won the national title. The team will be back as well. They're being honored at the game on Saturday. Her jersey will be retired Friday at the field hockey game. So we caught up with her, and then you texted and said you were back. So that brings you up to date with where we are.
I did say allegedly about OJ, in case his ghost is listening.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to talk about OJ, but
it's your favorite team.
No, I know. I understand why
people like that.
I understand why he's in the on the Mount Rushmore, but I think you could make a case either way. And the way Greeny put it, it makes a lot of sense.
All right, my next question to you, Steve, when we come back from break, is going to be Syracuse University quarterback based, and you're a gambling degenerate, so I thought maybe we could hit the odds. And what do you think the odds played into that? We'll get into that.
All right.
Because I was thinking about that on the way over here. They're 4.5, 5-point dogs.
It's up to 6 now.
Is 6? All right.
Yeah.
Well, the question will be, I'll let you think about it. You can do some research. How much do you think that would have fluctuated if Steve Angeli was the quarterback? All right, don't answer now.
No, I won't. I've been thinking about that myself the last couple of days.
I have my pulse on what people think about Steve.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I'm a great radio host.
Yeah. Okay, let's hit a timeout here. We'll discuss next on ESPN Radio.
This is Orange Nation.
Limiting those explosive plays, keeping everything in front of them when they had to bring down a guy. Do you have an answer? Or
no, I don't. No. We can discuss it on air. Like
I don't know.
Okay, let's discuss. Let's talk it out on the air. Thank you. I had to go win an award.
I wish somebody could let us know the answer.
I like that Syracuse. I know where I sit with Syracuse basketball. They did not get back to me yesterday, and they got back to other people about it. About JJ's.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Different hand. We'll be ready to play. No, won't miss no game. You can't measure my ratings. You can't count past 3.
Did you see David Fry get hit yesterday?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Do we have an update on him?
You're giving Katie credit for my award? She hasn't worked at the station in a while. Brian, I invited Brian there. Brian was there with us. He got his award. I'm not an asshole as much as you guys like to think it. I had lunch with Brian, and then we got our awards. Thank you. He's doing good. No, I invited Brian to the lunch. Guys, he won an award, and I wanted him there. You guys are insufferable. It was... Steve, I'm sorry for the way I treat you. This chat has made me realize I am an asshole. Thank you, Jim.
Did I tell you the story the other day about the guy who called me out of the blue?
Yeah.
I did.
Is insufferable to you, Gabriel Bazingoid? Yeah, do I ignore it? No, I was actually talking to him that I noticed he had a sponsor on it today. So keep my name out your mouth. Except for Steve just rolls his eyes and I give it back. I'm a man. I watch G.I. Joe. My love for your mom runs deep. How's that? I'm a man. I watch G.I. Joe. That would have been my speech.
He's fired now.
I know. I don't get butthurt. You guys don't know me. Mike, you know I'm not butthurt. I don't leave here all shaking my fist at the sky. Yeah, so deep, it put her ass to sleep. You're damn right, Super Cat. You're spitting. Hour number 2 of Orange Nation is underway. Thank you. Got the rundown, which I haven't even looked at. I already picked our second hour kickoff story.
I think you hit the space bar with your hand.
I think the ghost of OJ is here.
I think you hit the space bar.
I think I summoned the ghost of OJ and it shut off A Tribe Called Quest. Guard your neck, Steve. Quick thing. Syracuse up to 6-point dogs now.
Yeah.
If Angeli doesn't get hurt, are Syracuse 6-point dogs? Does the quarterback make that much of a difference?
So I think in the NFL you would never see this, right? You wouldn't see you would see the line move, but are you suggesting that Syracuse should be favored? Because
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. How much of a quarterback shift is? How much of a point shift is Angeli? Because I'm Josh Allen would probably be a touchdown difference.
You
right?
think a touchdown? I don't know. See, I don't know the answer to that. I think maybe 3 or 4 points, but I think 6 or 7 is for one player would be enormous.
I think Angeli takes a touchdown off the board. Now, do I think that Vegas thinks that? No.
So I just Googled it. The value of a quarterback in the NFL point spread varies greatly depending on the player, ranging from about 1 to 7 points. An injury to an elite franchise quarterback can create a larger shift in the point spread than any other position of football.
Yeah, I would put Angeli at a touchdown.
So you think they'd be a slight favorite if he were playing?
No, not the extra point.
Okay.
Just a touchdown. Pick 'em. I think they might be a pick 'em game.
According to this, again, I just did NFL, but according to this, Patrick Mahomes being out would be a 7.5 shift. Josh Allen being out would be a 6.8 point shift. Lamar Jackson 6.78. Justin Herbert 6.3. Jordan Love 6.04.
I'd put Angeli at a 6 even.
So that surprises me that it's that much. So I guess that makes sense because a lot of us were surprised when we saw that Duke was not only favored, but favored by more than a field goal, and now it's essentially a touchdown.
Because this is kind of if you're looking at Syracuse right now offensively, it's like the first game of the season again.
Yeah. Except for the fact that the O-line has been able to gel, and we know that the receivers are pretty good. But yes, I understand the premise.
Yeah, but we don't know that the routes are going to be the same for Ricky. We don't know the protections are the same because he's more mobile. It might be a learning curve for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, it's a fair point, and especially the receivers catching the ball from Ricky opposed to Steve, and where they place, where each quarterback places it and how they throw it, and there's no doubt that it's different. I don't know if it's truly a complete reset because everybody else has been playing and they're growing together, but now you're replacing their leader with somebody else.
Yeah, we don't know how much of the playbook changed because Angeli might be able to make throws that Ricky can't, and Ricky might be able to make throws that Angeli can't.
Although we did hear Fran Brown say to us, or he said on Monday rather, at the press conference, he said Ricky can make all the throws, and he mentioned that unprompted. He wasn't asked about that. He threw that in there. So it sounds like they feel pretty good about Ricky's arm.
Well, I would assume he's going to say that about his starting quarterback.
No, I know, but he didn't have to. He made sure he put that out there. So
keep Duke on their toes.
Yeah, and we're going to get Coach Fran on with us tomorrow, and we'll certainly ask him a lot about Ricky and where the team goes from here. We did hear from Ricky last night. Ricky addressed the media for the first time here in Syracuse since all this happened. I know he spoke briefly after the game, but last night was the regular media availability for the SU players. And he said all the things you would expect him to say. He said, I feel awful for Steve. It sounds like they're very close, and I know that Coach Fran has mentioned that. It sounds like it's genuine, though, that they are really close. He said he's glad he's got an opportunity, but certainly didn't want to get it this way, and feels for Steve, and they're going to remain tight, through this process. Fran talked about that on Monday, that Steve's going to be essentially a grad assistant right now for the rest of the season, and an assistant coach. He's going to be at practice. He's going to be traveling with the team. He's going to be in on meetings. He's going to prepare and help Ricky prepare as though he himself is the starter. So I think that's the way to play it. I think that's good for Steve's mental health. I think it's good for Ricky's preparation. I think it's good for the team to have both guys, in lockstep with one another. I think it's, the way that they're handling it sounds like the best way to handle it for all parties involved.
Yeah, I'll also be interested in seeing is if Ricky can buy himself more time, like our chat says, to spread the field a little more, to get the ball downfield. Angeli, I don't think has completed a field. Well, it was against UConn where they have like an 80-yard touchdown pass, but it was a 20-yard pass that nobody was behind him on. So we'll see. We'll see how
You're
much.
You're talking about the fourth down play was it was about a 50-yarder or so, but it was like a 20-yarder along the sidelines, and then Justice Ross Simmons took it the rest of the way. Yeah. So yeah, I mean we'll see how this whole week plays itself out, but
don't turn the ball over. That's what you need out of this. Make the easy passes. Don't turn the ball over, and trust your running backs.
The interesting thing about the line that you brought up, you said, what would the line be if Steve Angeli were healthy as opposed to Ricky Collins? And I think that, you said that Steve Angeli's worth a touchdown. The interesting part is that the over-under is still over 60. So that's Vegas saying there's going to be a lot, like the offense is going to be able to move the ball. It's going to be the defense that's going to have a hard time stopping Duke. So I think that that's an interesting part of this, that indicates to me that Duke still would have been favored, that, maybe Steve Angeli is worth some points in this whole point spread situation. I'm sure that he is, but the fact that the over-under is over 60 indicates to me that that's all about Duke's offense, or a good portion of that is about Duke's offense. And we had Wes Durham on yesterday who told us, listen, Blue Devils are averaging 7 yards per play. They can light it up. They can get up and down the field.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the defense does, because Clemson's offense isn't great, and they did everything they needed to do against them. They made the tackles. You just got to roll that over to this game, get better every game. I'm talking coach speak right now, Steve. But you got to get the open field tackles. You got to. If you hit somebody in the backfield, make sure he goes down. They also struggled. They put pressure on Klubnik. They just couldn't get him down.
Yeah.
All it took was one arm, and the defensive lineman was on the ground.
One of our listeners in the chat, Spatch in the Wheeze, brings up a good point that I know a lot of people share this opinion. He says this is a blessing in disguise, meaning Steve's injury, and the fact that they get him now for an extra year. And that is one way to look at it. He got really good experience. He played Tennessee and Clemson and showed that he's got a full command of the offense. And now he's got an extra year. Now, you never want to see anybody get hurt.
I don't know about this.
What's that?
This take is not a blessing in disguise.
Well, I don't think it's a blessing in disguise right now. I think you're going to be glad that you've got him that extra year, right? That you're going to have him next year.
But I've said multiple times, I don't want him back. Like, I want Ricky to go out and take this team over and win a lot of games.
I know what you said. I'm just saying that, and I'm not saying I subscribe to that. I understand that a lot of fans look at it like that, hey, they've got an extra year out of him now.
And we're already doing the next year's schedules easy. Come on. When are we going to learn about that?
And don't forget, they're going to add an extra conference game on top of it.
When are we going to stop with that?
You're probably going to lose the New Hampshire game, you would assume, and then pick up another conference game.
You want them if they had lost to Clemson in Tennessee, you could say, okay, maybe they could get by with this injury. They beat Clemson. Everything is on the table for this team. You wanted Steve Angeli here. It's not in any way whatsoever a blessing in disguise, because they could have done something this year.
Well, I get it. I also think that if we're being honest about it, right, and you look at the schedule.
Notre Dame's not as good. SMU's not as good. And Syracuse is better than everybody thought.
So in order to get to the college football playoff, you would have to make it to the ACC title game. And if you're being honest, they
haven't lost an ACC game.
The win over Clemson, I think, certainly ups the expectations. But even if Steve Angeli's here, if you're being honest, they wouldn't have been favored to make it to the ACC title game. They still would have to pull off multiple upsets to get there.
Yeah, but I don't think there is as big as upsets as they would have been.
Yeah, I mean, you're still at Georgia Tech and at Miami. They look like maybe the two best teams in the conference.
Miami's very good.
You're at Notre Dame.
I'm not scared of Georgia Tech yet.
Okay.
And Syracuse played Clemson better than Georgia Tech.
You would have to win 3 of those 4 games just to have a chance.
Yeah, I think it was everything was on the table still with Angeli. The offense would have gotten better, team would have gotten better, and I think you wanted him all year this year and all year next year.
Of course, but you don't have him now. So you look at it and you say, okay, all right, you don't have him now, but there are some positives from this in that he gained really good experience against really good competition. You know that you've got him at the very least, right, for the next 2 years. And I think
you don't know that because somebody might pay him a lot of money next year.
Okay, coming off an Achilles injury.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's great. He played against Tennessee and Clemson. Everybody's going to want him. Injuries are not in any way a blessing. Thank you. Mark,
let's go to Mark in New York City. Mark, what's up?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm listening to your guys' take right now, and I was going to ask something, but something popping in my head now is, like, what if Ricky comes in and is playing lights out the rest of the year?
That's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome.
That's what you want.
Does Steve go out and transfer then, and Ricky's our future? It's going to be confusing.
I think that one of them will be the starter next year, and my guess is one of them will not be here, and the other one will be the starter. That's my guess.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I was calling in. I don't even know what my question is ultimately. It's more just a vent. I was going back, just trying to gather as much information on Ricky as possible because the footage of him is so limited, and we have such a small sample size. But just to throw out some numbers, Ricky, from a recruiting aspect, was class of 2023. This is the year of Arch Manning. Arch Manning was the number 1 QB in the class. Ricky was only number 15 in the class. And our future that we thought at the time, Linares Sellers, was 20 spots lower at 35. And, Ricky was a really big-time recruit. He's been around for a couple of years in some top programs. I just feel like we feel so spoiled right now having McCord and the top play of Angeli that, Ricky could really be a big-time player. And are we not really giving him enough credit?
I've been trying to preach that, Mark. Like, that's what you want to happen. You want him to come out and take the job and never give it back.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Mark. I think he's very talented. He wouldn't have been at LSU if he wasn't talented. And you mentioned the rankings and whatnot. I think this was a case of Steve Angeli was more ready to play right off the bat, right? He had the experience at Notre Dame, played in 15 games. I think that they looked at him as giving them the best chance to win right away. But the coaches have said, and Fran said this on Monday, that it was an extremely close competition. And so, with that in mind, yeah, I do think fans have to be patient, though, because this is the first game he's going to start since he was a senior in high school in 2022. So that's 3 years ago, 3 full years ago. So it's, I don't know that you're just going to be able to wipe away the cobwebs and brush the dust off and go out there and, do what Steve Angeli was doing immediately. But can he grow into that? Yeah, I think he could grow into that. But I think fans are going to have to kind of temper their expectations this weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, I put this as game 1. This game, hopefully they win and they come out, even if it's as bad as the offense looked the first 3 quarters against UConn. Just go out and win the game. Secondly, Angeli's phone was probably ringing while he was under the knife.
Oh, about transferring?
People, yeah. Hey, buddy, seems like you got a couple free years left. Yeah, so I would not be surprised if his phone's already ringing.
I will say this, though. The concern about, if they're good at Syracuse, somebody's going to take him in the offseason. I don't think they're going to lose both of these guys.
No, I don't think it'd be both either.
I don't know that it's good. I think Syracuse will be able to pick which one they want to keep.
Yeah.
And then pay that guy to stay. I don't think this is a situation where it's like, little old Syracuse, look, they developed a really good quarterback. Now, Clemson's going to come in and scoop them both. Not Clemson wouldn't take both, but you know what I mean. I don't think they're going to lose both. I think they would be able to keep one, and then whichever one they're not going to start would exit.
T-Take says there's also a reason that LSU let him transfer, but there's also a reason Angeli transferred. Syracuse right now is a football program that the third and second string quarterbacks at Notre Dame are better than anything they've had in the past.
Hang on a second, though. Let him transfer. It was, how long do you want the kid to wait, right? Yeah. I mean, he's sitting behind Garrett Nussmeier. Nussmeier decided to come back, so he's like, okay, I'm hitting the portal. That's not up to LSU. I mean, of course LSU's going to start Garrett Nussmeier over somebody who hasn't played.
I get what he's saying, but also you're saying LSU's second-string quarterback is probably better than what Syracuse had on its roster. It clearly was.
Aside from McCord last year. But
going into this year.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Right.
100%.
And the third string of Notre Dame is going to play at Syracuse at this point.
100%.
Fran hopefully will get it to the point where that's not necessary and you're getting the best guys. But right now, you take the third string Notre Dame quarterback and the second string LSU quarterback in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and to say that LSU, they let him go. Like, what are you going to do if you're LSU? Like, Jaden Daniels is there, Garrett Nussmeier is there, then Nussmeier says he's coming back. Like, how long do you want him to sit? He's already been sitting for 2 years. This would have been his third year. So I get why Ricky Collins wanted to go somewhere and play, and he's got the opportunity now, and we get to see Saturday what he can do. All right, let's hit a timeout here. 315-437-7644 is the number if you'd like to get involved in the show. We've got our good friend John Schmelk set to join us here in about 15 minutes to talk New York Giants football. Jackson Dart has been named the starter for this weekend. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Spatch of the Wheeze, I can tell you that is not happening. They want you to do a show with Devo and Natan. I did the show with Devo and Chris Joseph, and that was fun. We had a lot of fun.
I've worked with Devo before on some things. I like working with him. I don't know Atan nearly as well.
Me and Devo got some stories. I don't know how fantastic it'd be, and that's not a shot at Steve. That show didn't get any viewers, unless you think Steve's the one that puts it over the top. Then I wouldn't stop it from happening. Steve can do whatever the hell he wants. How you feeling? Feeling better? Yeah. Good. My name is Big Poppy. We try and keep politics and news out of our show as much as possible. We try to be an escape. That's why I talk about my trips to the phlebotomist. I'm going to make phlebotomist my new word, seeing that insufferable is off the charts now, apparently. I was late today. Did you like the Neo Open?
I did. Thank you. It made a difference.
It doesn't make you look like you're late all the time.
Well, because I'm not, so.
Did I get a haircut? No. I just don't have a hat on. Michael, I will say that the amount of people that don't know that the First Amendment is preventing the government from keeping you silent, not your boss. Oh, Jen, he did. A phlebotomist is not a rear end doctor. I did go to that a couple weeks ago. No, I went to the front end doctor, but they checked the rear end. Does that make sense, Steve?
Yes.
I was having problems with the front end, but they they had to check the undercarriage.
Important.
Yelling about how upset he was taking come on.
About what?
I don't even know.
About saying I hope Ricky Collins wins the job?
David was talking.
David, what did he say? Come relay the message, David. It is. My badge is fine. It's been checked. I've been pap smeared. What about me saying I wanted Ricky to?
Essentially, yeah.
Well, if you're gonna call. Check the rhyme, y'all. This is our new show open, Steve. I don't know if you know that. Did you like the new open with you and Wes?
Yes, good addition.
Yeah.
Take out the part about me being late because it happened like once.
Do you really want to say that into an open mic right now?
I was late once? It's barely ever happened. How long have we been doing the show?
Do you know what?
5 years?
Yeah, you've been late a few times.
He's kind of like Fran Brown at the coaches show, though. He's pretty good at like rolling in right in time for the show.
Right.
Which he's a busy guy.
Which
so
we
is
don't
Fran.
get to talk about what we want to talk about. Like this week,
and then
I felt like the need to call Steve on Sunday to talk to him because I knew he wasn't going to be here on time.
And then when I do show up early, you tell me not to the next day.
I'll say this about Steve. When he's missing a show, we know in advance.
Thank you, Tim. Unlike today.
I told you last night.
I know, but it was something that had been scheduled many, many days in advance.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
I'm very busy this time.
I know you are.
You know, you say it's the only nice thing that Jim Boeheim's ever said about me is that I'm on time. I bet you can't say that about you.
Mostly on time. Once in a while, I'm not on time. Once in a while. We've been doing the show 5 years. It's less than 5 times in 5 years. It's less than once a year. And you know that that's accurate. Let's go to Scooter in Jamesville.
More than I'm late.
Scooter, what's up?
You know, you guys are talking about actors playing your guys' parts. And, Steve, I think the perfect guy to play you, the character going to play Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh.
I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect to play him.
Yeah.
And stuff. But I was watching the NC State. They had the game on the ACC network in Duke. It appears that one of their star linebackers got hurt seriously in the game. I don't know if you're going to have anybody from Duke
he's,
on.
He's
later,
out for the year, Scooter. I think they announced, yesterday.
But NC State went 99 yards on Duke, and it was almost like running the Wildcat. Nothing spectacular, no big play. I think it was like a 10-minute drive, and I'm thinking with Collins' mobility, because half the plays was involving the quarterback. But so I think you can move the ball on him. We'll see what happens. That's why I think that 60 points is still there. But we'll see. I just don't know. They say you can make all the throws. I don't know what definition of making all the throws, because does that mean you can throw to the sidelines with the same velocity on the ball? And because it seems like Syracuse throws a lot to the sidelines and stuff, and we'll find out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we will find out. We're going to learn a lot, I think, about this team, this quarterback, this season on Saturday at noon.
Can I ask a favor of the listeners, too? If you're going to call and come on the show. Don't berate the poor producers at the desk because you don't like something Paulie said or Steve said. Apparently, someone was very upset that I said I wanted Ricky Collins to take this job and keep it. God forbid I would like the team I grew up rooting for. I'm not a journalist like Steve. I grew up rooting for Syracuse to win, and I want them to win this year also. God forbid I want the backup quarterback to go in, take the starting quarterback's job, and win all the rest of the games. God forbid. Oh, and then we lost Angeli. Oh, well, we got Ricky Collins now. Let's go. Next man up.
It is next man up, whether they like it or not. It's next man up. All right. Tim is here now to bring us today's business. I enjoyed the first hour with you.
Thank you,
Glad
Steve.
to have you back here. Just in a different chair.
Am I giving Angeli the Chris Bell treatment, Steve? You're the one that's mean to him.
You're not being mean to Steve Angeli.
No.
You were a little mean to Chris Bell, but I was too. We both have been a little mean to Chris
picked
Bell.
Chris Bell to be all ACC.
Yeah, and then he embarrassed you.
Yes, he humbled me in front of the masses.
No, I don't think he's not getting the Chris Bell treatment. You're not saying that Steve Angeli's not good. He's not available for the rest of the year. So I get where you're coming from. I get both sides of it. All right, Tim, what do you got?
I figure we don't have a ton of time here before we get to John Schmelk, so I'll just carry on with the conversation you guys are having for today's business, always brought to you by Superior Plus Propane. I did want to make note of this, and I'll discuss it more in detail on my show tonight, but I did get a chance to talk with Ricky Collins. We taped an interview for the Learfield broadcast that'll run on the Syracuse radio pregame for Saturday. And really interesting just to talk with him. He seems excited for the opportunity, of course. But the thing that stood out to me is he kind of went out of his way to say, Fran told me we are not changing the playbook. I am going to do what Angeli was doing, and I am a pass-first quarterback. And Fran has gone out of his way. Remember, he ended his press conference, and he didn't really get asked about it. He kind of went out of his way to say, Ricky can throw that ball or whatever he said, and he's a pass-first guy. So I am expecting, based on what we've heard and based on Ricky telling me that last night, that they aren't going to change this playbook much, and we're going to see maybe more rollouts, but Syracuse is still going to want to hit you with the 4 verticals and move the ball down the field the same way.
Yeah, and we'll see how Ricky handles that. And again, I do think the offensive line is improving. The receivers have proven to be pretty good. He's got a nice stable of receivers right now to work with. So, all the pieces are there. It's just, can you plug and play with Ricky Collins and do a lot of what you were doing with Steve Angeli? We'll find out.
Yeah, and I do find it crazy that the line is what it is right now. And I imagine, obviously, he's worth some points, but I can't imagine it's more than 3 or 4 points. I mean, it's kind of shocking to me that I know it's more what the line opened at, and now the line is being moved because of the money. But I do feel like we're collectively maybe underrating Duke a little bit. Their quarterback's really good, and we'll talk about Duke more as the week progresses. But I'm surprised that the line is moving that direction. I'm surprised that Syracuse is 6-point underdogs.
Yeah, so it sounds like they would have been like a field goal underdog even if Steve Angeli were playing, that would have surprised me as well.
Yeah, I would have guessed if it was Angeli playing, Syracuse definitely would have been favored. Coming off a win on the road at Clemson, back at home, and Duke's defense hasn't looked that great this year.
Dateline the world. We didn't even get into the pitch.
I know, yeah.
We're doing the
ABS.
Yes, they're bringing that to baseball next.
Yes, you can appeal to 2 pitches.
Good news.
Yeah, if you get the challenge right, you keep them though. Yeah.
Good news for schlubs like me, Steve, who can't get ladies. There's a new trend in the dating world called shrekking. You know what that is?
No.
It's when ladies date down.
Shrekking?
Yeah.
Like Shrek?
Yeah,
the movie?
so they're shrekking. You date down, so you have an upper hand in the relationship. The belief is the other person should be grateful to have you. Therefore, they're going to go extra miles to keep you because they're basically hideous humans. It's called shrekking. That's from Psychology Today. That's an actual thing. So, ladies, lower them standards. Give me a call. 315-437-7644.
So
yeah, I'll be the donkey and the Shrek.
Just a quick follow-up on that.
Sure.
Are they consciously shrekking, or is it a subconscious thing?
No, they're doing it so that they have enough. Women are lowering their standards in order to. I would not want to be shreked. I don't think.
No,
you don't want to be on the receiving end of a
they're not going to tell you that. While you're dating them anyway, maybe afterwards, you're like, you know what? I was shrekking you the whole time.
I like to give myself a little credit that I would be self-aware that I was Shrek in the relationship, right?
Yeah, I think every guy kind of feels like they're Shrek in a good relationship, though, too,
I've been
right?
Shrek before. I'm not afraid to admit it.
It's kind of a good feeling.
Yeah,
it means you've outkicked your coverage, right?
All right, let's hit a timeout here.
Was that a kicker?
That was a kicker. That was good. I liked it. John Schmelk will join us next. We'll talk New York Giants with him. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
friend who doesn't listen to the show much. Tune into the show and Paulie goes, "Ladies love your standards and give me a call."
Take pictures and close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Wireless Dome
So, my mom's family very Catholic, and I stopped by to see my aunt who fell and is in a rehab center. She cracked one of her teeth. It's you'll get a kick out of this. My knowledge came into play.
Your knowledge of what?
She said, "I cracked my tooth and I got to get it capped." And I go, "Oh, say a prayer to Saint Apollonia, the patron saint of tooth."
How do you know that?
I don't know. You know when you're getting confirmed?
Yeah.
I wanted to make the right choice in who my saint was.
Deep dive.
So I did.
Who'd you come up with?
Anthony. I went basic after all that research. I should have done Dymphna, the patron saint of mental health issues, because I'm a mess. Who are you? Who'd you pick?
I picked Luke, St. Luke, patron saint of doctors, I believe. That's not why.
And then you named your kid after him.
Yeah, that's why. So the real reason is that my dad wanted to name me Lucius. And my mom was like, "No, we're not naming him Lucius." And so
Guys, could you imagine if it was the show started with now Lucius Infanti and Paulie Sibilia?
So Luke was the closest to Lucius. So I went with St. Luke, and then I named my son Luke.
St. Anthony is the patron saint of lost souls, items, and miracles. He was given the ability to perform miracles. Yeah, when you're confirmed, you pick your own saint. You pick a saint. I don't know what it does for you, but
they make you learn about a saint, and yeah.
You had to learn the stations of the cross. I was terrified of God as a kid. I don't know if we've done this or not. I think I deleted one too many, bugging out. Artist of the day, A Tribe Called Quest.
Yo, microphone check 1 2. What
All right. With that, we go back to our guest line, bring on our final guest today. A lot to talk to with this gentleman. So pleased to be joined by John Schmelk from the New York Giants, pregame, postgame host. And, John, we got to start with the Jackson Dart news. We figured it was coming at some point. I know we had you on before the season. I think we all thought it was coming later in the year. How surprised are you that they decided to pull the trigger this early?
We also talked about how the schedule would dictate that it could be a slow start to the year, and then that holding off on that decision would get very tough. And I think that's the spot the Giants kind of saw themselves in this week.
Right.
Where for two of the three first games this year, the offense scored fewer than 10 points. There was a really rough, red zone series at the end of that game last week. So, I think you sat there and you decide that at 0-3, it's gotten late early. You got to try to win some games. And Brian Dable declined to give a specific reason why this was the time to start Jackson Dart today at the press conference. So I'm not going to guess what it is, but I assume they think that, Dart gives the team a better chance to score more points and win football games.
So what are reasonable expectations with him out there, especially game one, start one for Jackson Dart? What do you what should Giant fans reasonably be expecting?
Don't lose the game. Mm-hmm. I mean by turning the ball over and making bad decisions. I think your expectations need to be low, and that's not a commentary on Jackson Dart. That's a commentary on any rookie starting their first NFL game, especially against a team like the Chargers that, quite frankly, has had one of the best defenses in the league since Jim Harbaugh got there at the start of last year, and their pass defense is just really, really good. So if fans expect him to go out there and be the reason the Giants win their first game, I think they're fooling themselves. That's not what this is. It is extremely difficult to play quarterback in the National Football League. It's exponentially more difficult to do that as a rookie. And look how Cam Ward's played so far this year. He's had some wow moments. Otherwise, it's been a rough going. Even, J.J. McCarthy playing for the first time this year, it was rough going. C.J. Stroud, after a good first year, it's been rough going for him since. Bo Nix has not had a good start to his second year. Michael Penix has not had a good start to his second year. This is a hard position to play. And the Giants are going to have to play really well around Jackson Dart to help him. It's an 11-man offense. It's a team game. And he's going to need a lot of support and a lot of help for the Giants to figure out a way to win this week.
Yeah, as you know, John, I'm a Bills fan. Josh Allen, his rookie season was a turnover machine. Really, the first few years, he was a turnover machine.
Yeah, I was about to say, the first year wasn't good, and then the second year wasn't much better.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it took him really 3-4 years before he started to kind of eliminate some of those dumb mistakes that he was making. And, it's a process that they got to go through. So he gets start number one. I mean, you've seen him play. You certainly, leading up to the draft, I know you were locked in on the quarterback position as well. What are his strengths as a player? What are some of the weaknesses of Jackson Dart as a player?
He's fearless. I think he has, fairly good pocket movement. He doesn't generally panic back there when he gets pressure. He kind of keeps his head about him. He is mobile. He's a pretty good athlete. He has a good, not great arm. He's willing to throw the ball down the field. He's a fairly accurate passer. And I think those are the things that he's good at. You just go back to what he did well at Ole Miss and then, frankly, what he did well in the preseason games. It was a lot of RPO. It was a lot of get the ball out quick. It was a couple 9 routes, deep balls down the sideline on, kind of just back foot hits and the ball's out. You can't design screen passes. You can't design a regular season NFL offense around those 3 or 4 things. So he's going to have to do more. But I think those are the things that you try to get to early in this game to give him some confidence, to give him some success. I think you have to run the ball well. The Chargers play a ton of too high. They've done a really good job. Excuse me, I'm sorry, sneeze coming. A really good job this year of not letting teams get the ball over the top on them, playing those 2 safeties deep. And when you play a team like that, you have to run the ball well. It's essential the Giants run the ball this week. So I think those are the things that Dart's good at, and we'll see how much they can expand from there to give him the best chance to succeed against, again, which is a very, very good defense in the Chargers.
Russell Wilson is a veteran. He's, well respected in the league. I assume you haven't heard from him yet, but how do you anticipate he's going to handle, this news, and what are you expecting from him moving forward this season, inside that quarterback room?
He's going to be the backup. Brian Dable did announce that today. I think we're going to hear from him today after practice at some point, would be my guess. But, I think he's here. We haven't heard anything of him demanding a trade. He's out on the practice field doing his thing in the role as the backup. So I would assume he's going to handle this very professionally and be a good soldier, try to help Jackson and be the backup quarterback here. So that's exactly what I would expect is going to happen. But I do expect we'll hear from him later in the day. Look, I'm sure he's disappointed. He came here probably expecting a much longer leash and an opportunity to start for a longer period of time. And remember, guys, he was great in week 2. Now the Cowboys probably have the worst defense in the league. So, yes, is there an asterisk on there? Absolutely. But the other 2 games the Giants have played, and they played against 2 of the teams that have been 2 of the better defenses in the league this year. I mean, the Commanders' defense has been very good. And we all know the Chiefs' defense with Steve Spagnuolo is excellent. So, short leash, I get it. No, you're 0-3. You have to try to find a spark here. So I get it. But if I was Russell Wilson, I'd be disappointed too.
John, I know it's been a disappointing start to the year, and so maybe this might be an odd question, but given all this young talent they have on the roster, Dart and Scattaboo and Neighbors and Carter and Thibodeau, is there a quiet confidence, maybe even a quiet excitement within the franchise right now, just that, let's get all these guys experience this year. It looks like it's going to be a hard year, but there are reasons to be optimistic moving forward?
Yeah, I don't think that's what anyone in the building is thinking right now, only because, I think you're worried about winning your next, as many of your next 14 games as you can. But if you want to take a 20,000-foot view, I do think they like some of the young talent and young players on this team. But I think it's also important for those guys to continue to develop, right? Does Tyler Newman stop missing tackles? They have to make a decision on Kayvon Thibodeau soon. He's heading into his 5th-year option year next year. John Michael Schmitz, how does he continue to progress here? And Deontay Banks, does he play better? So I think you have to see how these younger players continue to progress to prove to you that they can be the basis of a nucleus and a foundation to build around moving forward. I don't think we're there yet, but I do think there are enough very young, talented players on this team that I think have the ability to become that nucleus. I don't think they've shown it quite yet.
All right, let's talk about this opponent. And Justin Herbert is playing lights out. We had Mike Greenberg on the show to start things off today from ESPN, and he said that he thinks the Chargers might be, Josh Allen and the Bills' biggest threat this year, the way that they're playing and especially the way that he's playing. Where do you put Justin Herbert in the debate right now of best quarterbacks in the league? Is he a top 5 guy? Is he just on the outside of that upper tier? What do you do with Justin Herbert?
I have that top 4, that everyone has with Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. And then I think Herbert's right in that next group, with the Matthew Staffords of the world, guys like that. For me personally, I would probably have him, because of Stafford's age, I would probably have Herbert next at number 5, personally. But I don't think he's done it. That's more based on projection for me rather than performance, because I don't think he's performed to that level. I think he's a really good player. He's like a freak show Superman. He's not quite the explosive athlete Josh Allen is, but in terms of like size, strength, arm strength, things like that, he has those type of traits. So, yeah, he's awesome. I think he's on pace to be probably a top, with Burrow being hurt now, a top 4 quarterback this year. I think he's really good, and I like their running back too, Marion Hampton, the rookie. Quentin Johnson has broken out in year 3 as a wide receiver. Ryan McConkey's good. So the Chargers' offensive line, though, has struggled, and they're banged up. They're injured. So we got to see how healthy they are. We know that they lost Rashawn Slater for the season. Trey Pipkins went in for him. He got hurt last week. So what does that offensive line look like? That might be the Achilles heel this week that the Giants will have to take advantage of if they want to slow down this Chargers offense.
You mentioned Chargers are really good on offense. They're really good on defense. Do you think
they know for a reason?
Right. I was going to say, do you think are they the favorite in the AFC West? Even though the Chiefs are there, Chiefs are off to a slower start than we were expecting. Are they the favorites in that division?
A good question. If I had to pick, I would say the answer is yes. If you told me that, you could bring this Chiefs team out there with a healthy Xavier Worthy and, Rashee Rice for an entire season, I'd still pick the Chiefs, but that's not the world we're living in, right? I mean, I don't know when Xavier Worthy is going to be back. Nobody does. Rashee Rice is not going to get back until week 7. And it's a struggle for the Chiefs to move the ball. So, yeah, I would probably say that right now the Chargers are the team to beat. But, again, those injuries on the offensive line do worry me a little bit.
All right. So with that being said, let's look ahead to, this matchup. And what is your prediction? How do you see this game playing itself out against the Chargers?
As good as Herbert's been, the Chargers have not blown up on in terms of point total, right? I think they've scored between 20 and 25 points in all three of their games, if I'm not mistaken. So now that can change if you turn it over, give them a special teams touchdown, and you give them a short field. That could get bad quickly. But the thing about these Jim Harbaugh teams, guys, they're so fundamentally sound, and they generally don't beat themselves. I think Herbert has the second-best touchdown-to-interception ratio in football since the start of last year. It's something like 29 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, something like that. It's ridiculous. So the Chargers are not going to beat themselves. Jim Harbaugh teams do not beat themselves. So you have to go out there and you have to beat them. And with a rookie quarterback, that's going to be hard to do. So I think you're looking at a game, if the Giants want to win, it has to be something in like a 20-17, 17-14 type of area. The Chargers, since the start of last year, are only allowing 17 points per game. And I think it's the second lowest in the league. So I think that's what this game has to look like. The Giants have to play clean football. If they give too much to the Chargers here, they could get blown out. So I think you got to play clean football, play really good defense, run the football, and try to win like a 20-17 type of game.
All right, 1:00 kick at MetLife Stadium on Sunday, the start of the Jackson Dart era. John, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for coming on.
I'm happy to do it, boys, anytime.
All right, John Schmelk joining us from the Giants. And with that, we'll hit our final timeout. 315-437-7644 if you'd like to check in. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
We were just talking about one-hit wonders without you guys in your face. The Scenario wraps up the Low End Theory was released on this day, probably 1990? I don't know, around there.
Probably right around there, yeah.
So tomorrow is National One-Hit Wonder Day. I have pulled up a random year generator, Steve.
Okay.
Very popular. It's called codebeautify.org. Very reputable in the year generator game.
Low End Theory, 1991, by the way.
Right. So a year between 1980 and 1995, because that's I stuck in the two show host wheelhouse.
Yeah, right,
And
right there.
The
Yep.
year will be 1986.
So let me see. I'm pulling it up right now.
You don't think there's enough, huh?
It has to be one-hit wonders just from that year?
1986, yes. I can do it.
I don't remember half of these.
I thought you were going to pick 7 years.
You don't know
Tarzan
Boy by Baltimore. You will know that as soon as you hear that, dude.
Okay, I don't know it by name.
You will know the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yeah.
You will know Let's Go All the Way by Sly Fox.
Tender Love, I definitely know.
You will know Rock Me Amadeus.
Okay, yeah.
You will know I Want to Be a Cowboy.
Yep.
Rumors by Timex Social Club. You'll know that. Diamond Girl by Nice and Wild. You will definitely know that.
All right, you're right.
The Rain by Orange Juice Jones. That will be played. The Future So Bright, I Gotta Wear Shades.
What is Tarzan Boy?
Okay, hold please. I am disappointed in you.
I don't know it by name. I'm sure you're probably right.
It was in a very popular Listerine commercial for years also. Oh, wrong one. Damn, two things playing at once.
Does Rat Boy know Tarzan Boy?
Oh, yeah, I've heard this, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that's what it was called, but yes, I know the song.
Because he's kind of singing like he's swinging from the trees.
Gotcha. Okay.
See?
Yeah.
Like Tarzan.
Gotcha.
Bangers. 1986 will be our one.
Sorry, I didn't know that was what it was called. Yes, I've heard that song before.
It was Shakedown by, Shake You Down by Gregory Abbott. Another banger. You know that one, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. That's if your girl's a Shrekin. You want to play that. She'll be ready to.
Was that on your love mixtape?
Oh, yeah, my Polly love tape.
The Memorex tapes?
Yeah, the colorful Memorex tape.
Can we do that as Artist of the Day one day?
One day,
just
Polly's love songs.
Just to make Steve uncomfortable.
Polly's love-making songs from high school.
Speaking of which...
Just every break be like, Steve, you know what I did this? You know what I was doing when this was on?
So there is, at my dad's house, there is still, I had like I'm going to call it a tower. It was like a shelf, but it was thin and it was like a vertical tower of music. And it's still in my old bedroom and it's still got all the mixtapes from back in the day. So I
would love to hear it.
That would be good content.
Yeah, like if we pulled up a Steve, like, do you have your warm-up tape?
I don't know. I have to look.
Where you were listening to
I was not in charge of making the warm-up tape, so I don't think I have the actual warm-up tape.
But weren't you the guy? Didn't you say you would sit in the locker room by yourself and listen?
Yeah. Yeah, to like Eric B. and Rakim. And that one, I have that.
Did you have how old are you? Did you have the CD Walkman or the cassette
Walkman?
All right, now let's test your level of income. Did you have the yellow lockable one that you could take in the pool with you?
No,
I
did not.
Okay, I did not either.
We know you can't pull up your Napster profile. So.
No, I can't do that.
We'll settle for the mixtape.
If you brought in a mixtape, I would literally do a listen party on Twitch during the summer, and we could just I have old air checks. Can
we do this next week? This would be great content. Just every break, I'll have no idea what's coming.
Steve, you know what I did to this song?
I don't want to know. This song was very popular when I was DJing that one summer. This song was on all the time. Yeah. This show is officially off the rails.
That's on a mixtape. There's some girl suffering from PTSD right now.
Yes, that was that song played quite a bit on Z89 that summer.
So
right.
we got a lot of one-hit wonders.
All right, Tim, anything we should be aware of going into 5 o'clock drive time tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to chat with Adam Terry, which will be interesting to get his thoughts on Ricky Collins. And the offensive line, of course, looked much better against Clemson. We'll ask Adam where we saw the improvement from the offensive line. And yeah, it's some normal sports and not talking about one-hit wonders and sex music. You have that to look forward to.
Rat Boy Tape Chronicles. Let's do it. Let's do the Rat Boy Chronicles. And we'll listen to what Steve would listen to.
All right.
Steve was a DJ at Z89, the chat would like to do.
I was, yes, for one summer between my senior year in high school, freshman year in college. I did the midnight to 6 a.m. shift once a week at Z89.
People are saying Falco is a two-hit wonder. Yes, because he had Vienna Calling also, Steve. But I'll play it tomorrow because I don't care about
All right, it's up to you.
I don't care about numbers.
You get to pick 7. We got to go. Listen to Tim at 5 o'clock. Paulie and I back at it noon tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.
Bad Boy After Dark.